Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to our background campaign of Hero Realms. We've got the Ranger out after our adventure in Dragon Age tabletop role-playing game last week, as we're continuing our background campaign in the Ruin of Thandar. With the third scenario, we've got the Ritual. First up, let's tell the story of this one. You make your way to the cobbler's shop and find the entrance to the caverns. You move quickly with your lantern unlit and rely on your night vision to guide you. Hiding in the shadows, you come across a vast ceremonial space. A priestess stands on a dais chanting, along with dozens of her followers. Behind the priestess is a large brazier. A large brazier burns, and above it you see a huge formless shadow. With each beat of the chant, the shadows seem to grow and twist. You realize the priestess is mere moments away from summoning the demon. You draw your weapons, but then the priestess turns toward your hiding place. "Welcome," she booms, her voice magically amplified. "Enter and bear witness to the end of Thandar." Thandar is, of course, the setting that we're in. And the character we've got out is the Ranger for this one. Ranger's special abilities that we've got Track, where we can expend this and spend 2 gold to look at the top 3 cards of our deck. We can put up to 2 into the discard pile and put the rest back in any order. Then we've got Quick Shot, which we can sacrifice, aka remove from the game, to stun a target minion that isn't in your area. And I can put an arrow from my discard pile into my hand, and then I draw a card. Okay, we'll put those up in the play area. Then we'll take a look at the Runos Archpriestess, who's the boss that we're taking on tonight. Master, starting health of 30. Then as far as the special abilities go, the color of the card that she plays is basically going to be the color of the card she adds to the market, or to the ritual. And the preferred color is in red. So there's a special icon. I forget exactly what it looks like, but when we trigger that, that's the card that goes into it. So for those of you who might be hearing Realms and thinking, is this very similar to Star Realms? Yes, it is very similar to Star Realms. And in fact, I've talked about Hero Realms and Star Realms basically being the same game, where it really depends on which coat of paint you want, in terms of whether you want a fantasy experience, which is what Hero Realms gives you, or a sci-fi, which is what you'd be looking for with Star Realms. Anyway, as far as our starting market, we've always got our fire gems available for 2 gold. They give you 2 gold when you play them. You can sacrifice them for 3, aka trash them. So we'll take a look at our starting market. First card up. We've got Brolin Loreweaver for 4. Champion Elf Mage, expend her for 2 gold. And if we have an ally ability with the Wild faction, target opponent discards a card. Discarding a card works a little bit different with the solo mode. But our next card up. Influence, which is an action for 2 gold. We can play this to get 3 gold and expend it to get 3 combat. AKA sacrifice it. Next card up. Rampage for 6 is another wild card. So it would trigger with Brolin. 6 health, or 6 combat. You may draw up to 2 cards, then discard that many cards. Next card up is a Wolf Shaman for 2. Another green faction ability. Expend for 2 combat plus 1 for each other wild card that we have in play. And 4 non-champion strength. And the last card is Taxation for 1. Gain 2 gold, and if you have another yellow faction, you gain 6 gold. So with that, the last thing I need to do is I need to shuffle our deck up. Fortunately, if we get a green card right off the bat, Brolin is going to be safe. So actually, that's probably Brelin. But I need to see what I get into my hand first. Actually, both Brelin and the Wolf Shaman would be safe, because Rampage is there to take that hit. I'd love it if a blue card came up, but there's one thing I'm going to check once we get our starting hand drawn up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, I don't dislike that hand, I just mostly dislike it. Let's see, special rules. Oh, take the Runos Zealot and the Vexing Imp out of the encounter deck. So I did forget to do that. I'll take care of that real quick. Vexing Imp, Runos Zealot. Alright, I'm going to do a little bit of quick rebuilding on the deck, so bear with me just a second. I need to get the masteries out for that. Okay. So I'm just going to do this quick, this is going to be a lightning quick rebuild that I'll do off camera. I did forget about that. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, all 4 of them are favored. Resolve 1 at a time. Yikes. So we actually do have to deal with all 4 of them. Okay. Alright. Just doing the shuffle off camera. Alright. Actually, we'll do that. Then we'll shuffle these. These are the mastery cards that I need to pull out of the deck that I'm shuffling right now. Alright. Okay. Well, this is a 3 card. These are going to be 2 or 3 card shuffles that I'm doing now, so there's not much I can do there. That's the first group. This is giving me a chance to consider the market, though, where I can definitely have access to some good stuff, but I need to see what survives the first turn. Okay. There we are. And the last 3 card group. Okay. We are all set, so let's jump in and start with the Master's first turn. First card up. We've got a Runos Enforcer, which triggers a green. Elite, put this minion into the Master's area. Expend for 5 combat. And the guard is the keyword I was looking for earlier, where guard minion, or if the minion has health like this, it means we have to go after it first. Same thing would apply if we get our hands on a guard. So the highest cost card going into the ritual is the Rampage. Then we'll refill the market and get a profit for 1. Gain 2 gold. Another blue faction would give us 4 combat. Alright, then he will expend for 5 combat, and he'll slap us in the face for 5, bringing us down to 53 right off the bat. Unfortunately, he's going to be around for a little while, because all I've got right now is 5 gold, which does give me some good options. Excuse me, I am going to take Brelin for 4. And then the next card up is Kristoff the Just for 5. It's another yellow faction card. Got a guard of 5 of its own. Expend for 2 combat and 3 health. Ally ability is to draw a card. And I'll grab Taxation, just in case he survives. And then the card coming out is another Taxation. Then we'll draw back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this actually kind of works. Then the next card up should be a Mastery, I'm fairly certain. And it is a Mastery. It's a green Mastery. Unfortunately, well, that gets attached to the minion, so that's not too bad. But what it will also do is it'll also take the Wolf Shaman away, which is a card I was eyeing. So next card we get here is Krythos, Master Vampire for 7. Expend for 3 combat. You may sacrifice a card in your hand or discard pile. If you do, gain an additional 3 combat. He'll expend for 5 combat, and he'll hit us with that again, down to 48. that Enforcer coming out right away is going to cause us problems. Hopefully not too many, though. But we will get a Honed Black... Actually, we'll play the Hunting Bow for 2 combat. You're the prey. Then Honed Black Arrow, which replaces a regular Black Arrow. And since I have a bow in play, I get to draw a card. Then I'll play a Black Arrow for another combat. Since I have a bow in play, again, I get to draw another card. Actually, that Black Arrow shouldn't be in the deck, so never mind. I just realized it replaces the Black Arrow. Herp-a-derp. Anywho, I've got a Snake Pet, which I can expend to stun a target minion in my area or draw a card. In PvP, I can also target an opposing guard, but this is not PvP. He's not great around people, no kidding. Unfortunately, the Runos Enforcer is in the Master's area. So, and then I've got 3 gold, where the next champion I acquire would cost me 1 less. And unfortunately, the Wolf Shaman was a champion, so I won't be able to acquire that. I'll expend the Snake Pet, and now I will draw a card. Because the Runos Enforcer doesn't go into my area. He's an elite minion, so he goes into the Master's area. But we'll see what I can get out of this. Alright, then we'll draw a card, and we end up with another gold. Which, I actually don't hate that, because I was looking at potentially having to buy some cheapo cards, but I now have access to Kristoff if I want him, and I probably do. I'll use my 5 combat to take out the Runos Enforcer. Unfortunately, because he's a guard, I do have to take him out first. And I will grab Kristoff. So next card up is Rake Master Assassin. 7 trade. I can expend him for 4 combat, and I can stun a target champion. And that doesn't have to be in my area, so I will unexhaust my Snake Pet. Draw back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And let's see what card the Archpriestess draws next. Tough. Minion can't be stunned except by damage. Oh, and a 9? That is gross. This is going to be a short game the way this is going. He'll expend for 5, which will take out the Snake Pet and do 4 damage to me. Actually, we don't have a green card in the market, so joke's on the Priestess. But we'll take another 4 damage. Yikes, we can't keep taking 5 damage around. I may have to burn the quick shot here soon, just to do something about that. Let's see, we do have a taxation and 4 more gold, which I will use 2 of it to look at the top 3 cards of my deck. So 1. I can put up to 2 of them in my discard pile and put the rest back in any order. Two, 3. Let's see. I actually want all of these, so I'm going to put them back. I'm going to be drawing all of them at the start of the turn anyway, so... Can I get these in a way... Yeah, I may have to try to race, but a race is not going to end well for me here. I will take all of those, actually. I put those all back on top. Then another 4. I'll grab another taxation. And coming out is Grax Storm Giant, which costs 8 trade, or 8 gold. I can expend them for 6 combat. I may draw a card if I do discard a card. Another allied green ability, draw then discard, guard strength of 7. Then I'll grab a Prophet. And replacing that will be Smash and Grab for 6. 6 combat, and I can put a card from my discard pile on top of my deck. And then I'll grab an Influence for 2. And replacing that will be another Influence. Okay. Then I'll draw back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I just mostly hate this. Alright, next card up is our blue mastery. So we have to take the highest blue cost card and add it to the ritual. So that is Rake going away. Then replacing that will be Varric the Necromancer for 5 combat, or for 5 trade. He's got a guard strength of 3, but it's not guard. I can expend him to take a champion from my discard pile and put it on top of my deck. Then on a red ally ability, draw a card. Track on exhaust. Stone Golem exhausts for 5 combat. I will take 5 and go down to 39. We're just getting brained here like it's going out of style. 1 more mastery and the Archpriestess will level up. Which I don't think actually he goes right into my play area. And I believe if it's there, if there's a minion in my play area, I can't even attack the boss. I'm just going to double check that. For any other type of minion. Okay, player step. If there are no prepared minions in my area, I can attack the... So yeah, since the Stone Golem is in my area, I have to attack it. Yikes, so any attack cards I get are basically going to bounce right off. Gross. So I already expended him, okay. So now we'll start off with a Hunting Bow for 2, then a Honed Black Arrow for 3, which will let me draw a card. It's another gold, which I don't like. Then we'll play the Snake Pet, which I will expend that to draw a card. That's problematic. Let's see. 2 gold, so Brelin. And 6 gold. Actually, that's going to be 6 gold total. I'll expend Brelin to get that. So 6 gold, and because of the Horn of Calling, the next champion I acquire costs me 1 less, which is Xaxes to get me Krythos. And then I'll replace that with Death Touch. It's an action for 1 trade, 2 combat. I can sacrifice a card in my hand or discard pile. Ally ability with the red faction is for 2. Unfortunately, 5 combat is not enough to take out the 9 faction Stone Golem, so I have to expend everything. Yikes. Okay, now I'm getting a pretty sizable deck, so I actually have to shuffle. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's not totally nothing. Let's see what card the Archpriestess has coming next. Runos Chanter, it's an elite. Put it in the faction. Expend if the Runos Archpriestess is the master. Add the top card of the market deck to the ritual. Otherwise, she gains 4 combat. Hang on. Throat's getting a little dry. Okay. Much better. Then the order goes minions in the... Okay, in the active player's area, expend first. So 5 combat from the Stone Golem. Then the top card, actually that is the blue card. So we take Smash and Grab. Then replacing that is Nature's Bounty for 4. 4 trade, 4 gold, green ally, target opponent discards a card, and sacrifice for 4 trade, or for 4 gold. Then we take the top card, which is Miros, another blue champion, added to the ritual. Then the Stone Golem attacks for 1, takes out the Snake Pet, and does another 4, so bringing me down to 35. Then everything expends, and now it's back to our turn where we've got problems. Actually, can we take out the Stone Golem? I think the answer to that is a firm maybe, but it's going to depend on what I draw. So I'll start off with Krythos, another champion. When I expend him, well, I'll leave the gold in my hand for a second. Then I've got Kristoff the Just. Then I'll play a Taxation to give me a guaranteed 2 combat. Both ally abilities will trigger, so I'll gain 6 health from the Taxation, bringing me up to 41. And then I'll draw a card from Kristoff. Gross. Then we've got a Honed Black Arrow. Actually, we might be able to take out the... We should be able to take out the Stone Golem here. So now I'll start expending... Has to be from hand or discard pile. Okay. So I will start expending my champions at this point. I'll start by expending Krythos for 3 combat, and then I'll sacrifice a gold to give me another 3 combat. Then I'll expend Kristoff for another 2, so that'll bring me up to 8. And then the Honed Black Arrow will put me at 11. I'll expend Brelin for another 2 gold, so 4, 5. Let's go... That'll actually be Xaxes to get me Varric. And then replacing that, and then replacing him, will be a Cult Priest for 3. I can expend for 1 gold or 1 combat, ally ability for 4 combat. Let's see, what did we establish? I have a total of 6, 8, 11 combats. That'll be enough to take out the Stone Golem and hit the Archpriestess for 2, bringing her down to 28. Because I can't take out the Runos Chanter. Then for a total of 5 gold, I think that's going to be Nature's Bounty. Then replacing that will be Elven Gift for 2 gold. I get 2 gold when I play it. I can draw a card if I do discard a card. Then Faction Ability to gain 4. And I'll grab the Death Touch for 1. And then replacing that, Man-at-Arms for 3. For 3 gold, I can expend him to gain 2 gold plus 1 gold for each other guard I have in play. Okay, so all of that goes to my discard pile. All these champions expend. I would be stunned if this next card that's coming out of the Master's deck isn't the Mastery card. Isn't the Mastery card he needs to level up? Or she needs, let's find out. And to the shock of, well, not yours truly, the boss will level up. So that will put the Man-at-Arms into the ritual. I believe when we level up, we finish everything out. Oh, each of her powers adds cards from the ritual from... Okay, so if they're tied. Okay. Means the corresponding effect. Okay, so we will flip over the card, but then the boss will have enough to level up. So we replace that with Rayla Endweaver for 4 gold. Can expend to gain 3 gold and ally ability to draw a card. She does have enough to level up, so we go to Chapter 9 of the Adventure Book, which means the ritual is complete. The Runos ritual is complete. "You're too late," the priestess screams. With a triumphant wail, she plunges her dagger into her own chest, completing the ritual. As she crumbles to the floor, she utters in a hoarse whisper that eerily echoes around the chamber, "The demon has come. The demon has come, and Thandar will die." Add each card in the market ritual, then replace those cards. The active player may now continue their turn. They may not attack, target, or otherwise affect the master for the rest of the turn. They may still attack minions. When that player's turn ends, go to Chapter 11. So presumably what that means is we get our turn at this point. And I believe the masteries go to the discard pile, right? Okay, so we add everything to the market, then replace them. Gross. There was some good stuff up here, too. Then we get replacements. First up, Dark Energy for 4 gold. Gain 7 gold, or 7 combat, ally ability with red, draw a card. Next up, Kraka High Priest for 6. 2 health and draw a card on expend. Ally ability with yellow, gain 2 health for each champion you have in play. Then, Wolf Shaman for 2. Expend for 2 combat plus 1 for each other green card I have in play. Then, Death Cultist for 2. It's a guard. Expend for 2 combat, 3 health on guard. And finally, Bribe for 3 gold. Gain 3 gold, and ally ability, put the next action I acquire this turn on top of my deck. Okay. So, looks like we start our turn at this point. So we're going to go with Taxation. So Taxation will trigger ally abilities once again. I'll go up to 47. Then I'll play Profit. And I believe I have to play out everything. I don't think I can hold cards in my hand. Let me double check that, though. As they would in the base game. So now I need the base game rules out. Which, that is most definitely not. Lost Village, Hero Realms. Here we are. Let's see how to play. No cost to play a card. Let's see here. Acquiring cards. Let's see. Play a card from your hand. I'm assuming... So it looks like you do have to play out everything in your hand. Let's see, term reference, that's not what I want. Yeah, I don't see anything about... I think champions have an expend ability. Put all cards left in your hand into your discard pile. So you can hold cards, but everything... So you can't hold cards from turn to turn. That's what I was looking for. So everything gets discarded. So I'll go up to a total of 4, 7, 8. So that's going to get discarded. Then I'll expend Kristoff to gain 3 more health, going up to 50. Then I'll expend Brelin for another 2 to go up to 10 gold. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to clean everything out of the market. Well, given that I've got a red champion already, I definitely want Dark Energy. Then replacing that, so that's for 4. Replacing that will be another bribe for 3. Then I want the Wolf Shaman for 2. So that's 6 I've spent. Death Cultist, another Death Cultist. Which I'll grab at least one of those. Next card up is a Spark. 3 combat, target opponent discards a card, green ability for 2. I will take that, and then if this is a 1, I'll probably grab it as well. It's a Cult Priest, so nothing there. Then everything gets discarded. Everything prepares, and we'll draw back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we just added quite a bit of stuff to our deck, which we're probably going to need as we're getting ready to deal with whatever this Runos Archpriestess just summoned. And 5. Wow, what a terrible hand. But let's see what chapter 11 has to say. The demon is summoned. The shadow shape coalesces, and a massive roar fills the chamber as the demon enters this dimension. Before the master phase, resolve the ritual as follows. Take the stack of ritual cards and separate them into 4 piles, 1 for each faction or color. If there are any factionless cards, set them aside. Okay, so let's go to the ritual first. Let's see. Green, green. Blue, blue, blue. Yellow, red. Green, red. Green, red. So green is the one that's got the most... If there's count the number of cards in the pile that has the most cards determines which demon was summoned. In this case, it's green that's got the most. Alright, so each pile of cards has an effect as follows. For each blue card in the ritual, stun the highest non-guard champion among all players. So unfortunately, that's going to take out Brelin and Krythos. And we just shuffled the deck. Then green, starting with the active player, which is aka me, each player discards a random card until the group has discarded cards equal to the number of green cards in the ritual. So I'm just going to make this easy on myself, because I'm going to shuffle up my hand, and it'll amount to the same thing. So I'll reveal the 1 card I'm going to keep. The rest are going to get discarded. And this is the one I'll keep. I'll keep the Horn of Calling. Everything else will go to the discard pile, which was a pretty crappy hand, which was made even crappier by the Horn of Calling. Well, maybe not, actually. Let's see. Red, each player loses health equal to twice the number of red cards in the ritual, so that's 3, which means I lose 6 health, go down to 44. And then the demon gains starting health equal to 3 times the number of yellow cards in the ritual. So 1 card, which means the demon's gaining 3 health. So I'm going to make a note of that in chat. Okay, that's just me keeping things straight. So everything goes back into the market deck, then the master's discard pile, and the mastery cards goes back into... Okay, one more note I'm going to make here. Okay. What? Oh, for crying out loud. There we go. Okay. Wanted to make sure I had that noted as well. So... Demon's going to get plus 3 health, and green has the most cards. So we're going to chapter 13 in a moment. But let me shuffle all of these back into the market deck. it one more shuffle. And a cut. And then we shuffle everything. We shuffle the masteries and the master's discard pile back in. Right. Yep, shuffle the master's discard pile and any mastery cards back into the master's deck. Okay. So we've got that handled, and now we've got our demon coming out. Ingarash the Insatiable. As the roar echoes through the chamber, the demon's huge form appears 20 feet above the brazier. Now fully in this dimension, the demon falls, crushing the dais and several followers beneath its massive body. The floor shudders, and you almost lose your footing. The demon grabs the nearest follower, shoves it into its gaping mouth, and chomps down with 100 slicing teeth. You watch in horror as again and again it scoops up followers and hurls them down its gullet. So now we'll get Ingarash the Insatiable. There we are. And we'll take a look at his card. He only needs 2 to level up. That's problematic. Blue, gobble up your highest on-guard champion. Green, gobble up the top card of the market deck. Gain combat equal to the total number of gobbled up cards. Then gobble up the highest cost action card in your hand. Gobble up the highest cost card in your discard pile. Oh, yikes. Alright, and he's going to start with 83 health because of the yellow card that was in the ritual. So 83 health, just going to take a quick thumb through the rules. Remove that card from the game, yada yada yada. Ingarash gobbles up the market, then replaces those cards. So of course we're going to lose the Death Cultist that I somewhat had my eye on. So he's starting off with 5 gobbled up cards too. That's delightful. Okay, so I'm going to make the gobbled up pile off to the side over here. Then I'm going to grab another dial so I can track how many gobbled up cards there are easily. So actually there are 5 gobbled up cards. Then we'll replace the market. First up we've got an Elven Gift for 2 trade. You may draw a card if you do discard a card. Then a taxation for 1. We've played that before. List the Unseen, guard strength of 5. Expend for 2 combat. I can sacrifice a card in my hand or discard pile. If I do, gain an additional 2 combat. Then a Spark for 1. We picked one of those up earlier. And Master Weigh-In. Plus 3, it's for 4 trade, or for 4 gold. Gain 3 combat, plus 1 for each other champion you have in play when you expend. Okay, so that's into our turn. Actually, no, I think that was the... Was that the Master card? I think that came up after my turn ended, right? When that player turn ends, yes. Okay. So, that means we're flipping over a new card. We're finding a captive. We've discovered, so blue gobbled up my highest non-guard champion. So joke's on them, but we discover somebody held captive by the Ruinos. Go to chapter 10 of the adventure deck. As if we didn't have enough problems. Alright. A snarling disciple drives you back against a wall. With a quick strike you slay your enemy. You sense something to your right and turn to face the next threat. To your surprise, it's the young man the Ruinos kidnapped from the inn at 4 Rivers. His clothes are in tatters and he's chained to the wall, but when you break his manacles, the look of terror on his face becomes grim determination. He picks up the fallen disciple's weapon, and together you rejoin the battle. When the captive is flipped by the master, attach it to either side of the master's card. We'll just attach it there. Let's see, not in play, doesn't do anything. It isn't a minion, so we don't use expend power. Each time the active player gains health, we can spend health on the captive. If we spend 4 more in a turn, we acquire the captive into our discard pile. Captive can't be rescued if there are minions in the master's area, or if there are minions in the active player's area. Captive card can't be sacrificed. Okay, so we go back to the game. Alright, he doesn't gobble that up. He will expend for attack. And then he doesn't... I don't think Ingarash makes any kind of attack without gobbling up cards. Does he? No. Okay, so we'll get hit for 4, which will actually bounce off of Kristoff and not do anything. So that's fortunate for us now. Okay, now, with that all being said, now we've got an 83 health minion to go through, so let's see what we can do about that. We've got the Horn of Calling for 1, which means the next champion I acquire costs 1 less to play. La-di-flippin'-da. We're not acquiring a champion this turn anyway. We'll use Kristoff for 2 combat and gain 3 health. The 3 health is the more important, so that'll bring me back up to 47. The 2 combat will go at Ingarash because we would need 6 to get past the Chanter. So that'll put him down to 81. The one goal to give us a spark, and we'll replace that with Rake Master Assassin. We saw him earlier. Then I will expend Kristoff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that is not even a little bit terrible. So he'll expend, and then we'll draw a new card. We've got the Red Mastery. Gobble up the highest cost action in my hand. Oh, that is disgusting, because that cost me the dark energy that I was going to be making use of. Great. Fortunately, it doesn't give him an attack, so he'll expend the Chanter for 4, and then it'll ultimately bounce off of Kristoff once again. Actually, we could sacrifice to stun a minion. Right. Okay, so stun target minion in your play area or draw a card. Well, let's start off with a Snake Pet. Then we'll use Varric. Then we've got a Nature's Bounty and a Taxation. The Taxation will trigger active abilities for Kristoff, so we will gain 6 health going up to 53. And then we'll draw a card once we expend Kristoff. Actually, I saw what the card was, and I realized I kind of want to do this in a little different order. Let's see, what champions do I have there? Okay, this will work. So which one do I want? I'll expend Varric first. Actually, yeah, we'll expend Varric first. I'll shuffle this up. Since I did already see the card before, I looked at my cards again and realized, oh, I can do this in a different order. Okay, so which champion do I want from Varric? I think I want... I think I want Krithos. Then I'll use Kristoff's ally ability to draw a card. Hey, look at that, it's Krithos. Which will trigger the ally ability on Varric. Ooh, I do not hate that at all. Then we'll play the... so I gained the 3 health, but I didn't gain the 6 yet from Taxation. I actually will spend that on the... captive, so 4 of that will come back to him. Then we'll gain another 2, going up to 55. Then I need to double check how discard works on how when I make a minion discard, or when I make a boss discard, I believe that gives me the combat. Okay, when the master would discard a card, instead I could look at the top card of the master's deck and either choose to keep it on top or put it in the discard pile. Okay, so, right, that's how that works. I know in Star Realms it tends to work a little bit differently. So I've got 2 discards. I'll trigger the discard from Spark first, which is a mastery that would gobble up the highest cost card in my discard pile. Let's not do that. And a Runos Chanter, which would gobble up the highest cost action card in my hand. Let's not do that either. Plus, that's an elite minion. I want to keep that at bay. So I've got a fair bit of attack. I'll expend Krythos as well. So let's see if I can sacrifice a card in my hand or discard pile. I'll sacrifice a gold from my discard pile for an additional 3 combat. So I've got a total of. So let's deal with gold first. I've got 6 gold, which I'll grab. Yeah, let's grab an Elven Gift for 2. Then I'll replace that with a Death Touch. We will grab that for 1. So I've got 3 left. Word of Power to draw 2 cards. I'll grab a Taxation for 1. And an Influence for 2. And that cleans out my 6 gold. Replacing that with Wolf Form for 5 combat. 8 combat, target opponent discards a card, and then sacrifice it for target opponent to discard a card. So now I've got, let's see, I've got 5, 7, and I did sacrifice a card for Krythos, so that's another 6, total of 13. I'll take out the Runos Chanter with 6 and hit Ingarash for the other 7, bringing him down to 74. We're making headway here, folks. Slow but steady headway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, I don't hate that at all. And the next card coming out is a green card. Gobble up the top card of the market deck. Then he gains attack equal to the total number of gobbled up cards. So he's got 6. And that's a green, which I dealt with that already. When he flips a red card, this deals 5 damage to me and each of my champions, then the hazard gets cleared. When I play a card that costs 5, I clear the hazard. Unfortunately, I'm not playing anything like that. So he gains 6 attack. That will have to go on Kristoff because that's a guard. And then the 1, I believe he can ignore non-guard champions and go after me, right? Attacks prepared guard, stunning the highest defense guard. And to defeat that player. Okay, so Master doesn't have enough combat, will attack the highest defense champion it can stun. So he'll go after the snake pet. Okay, and then that's it for his turn. As for me, let's go ahead. We're going to have a bit that we're doing here. So we'll trigger the ally ability from Varric first to draw a card. Okay. Then Death Touch. Well, we can sacrifice a card in hand or discard pile. I'm going to go to discard pile and grab a gold out. Then I've got another Death Cultist, an Influence, Profit, and 2 more gold. So I've got a total of 7 gold. Actually, let's go ahead and tally up my combat as well. So I'm going to expend Krythos. Actually, I think we drew the card already from Varric, so I'm not going to worry about that now. But I will expend Varric to put a champion from my discard pile on top of my deck. That will be... That's going to be Brelin, actually. Then I'll expend everybody. I should have another gold in my discard pile I can sacrifice. I do not, so I will skip that. But I have a total of... Let's see, I have a total of 3, 5, 9 combat, which I will... Actually, 9 combat and 7 gold. Which I'll use 5 of it to get this wolf form. Then we'll replace that with Darien Warmage. For 4 gold, I can expend either for 3 combat or 4 health. I'll instead grab a fire gem. And then for a total of, what did we say, 9 combat, we'll hit Ingarash with that to go down to 65. It was looking dicey for a little bit there, but we seem to be turning the corner a little bit at least. And we'll draw back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We'll shuffle all of this, which I've got quite a sizable deck right now. And 5. Okay. Don't totally hate that. Let's see what card he draws. It's a mastery. His preferred mastery is green, so we'll gobble up the top card of the market deck for 7. Okay, so that brings him up to a total of 7. He gains attack equal to that, but he does level up. Which basically doesn't change anything, I don't think. No. It just makes him a little bit stronger. He didn't flip over a red card either. So, he doesn't gain any attack from that, thankfully. Actually, he does gain 7 attack. So he'll use 3 of it to go after the Death Cultist, 3 to take out Varric, which is unfortunate. And... If he can't reach my champion, I think the rest of the damage just bounces off. Attacks the prepared guards. That player has a prepared guard left. Oh, skip to... Has any combat left, empty its combat pool. Okay. So actually... Spends its remaining combat to defeat that player. If they don't have enough combat, will instead attack the player, the highest defense champion it can stun. So it doesn't have any... Okay, so spends remaining combat to attack the player. So it'll attack me for 4. And then that's his turn. Now, with that in mind, let's play out Brelin. Taxation, Horn of Calling, which makes the next champion I acquire this turn cost 1 less, which will be very tempting. Black Arrow, and a Wolf Shaman, which is another companion. So I'll exhaust the Wolf Shaman first for 2, plus 1 for another green card I've got in play for a total of 3. For 3 combat. Then I'll expend Krythos for another 3 combat. I'm not sacrificing either of the cards in my hand or discard pile. Then I'll expend Brelin to get 2 trade and look at the top card of the Master's deck for discard. Fire Pentagram, highest cost card in my discard pile. Let's... That would lose me Varric, and I don't think I'm warm to that, so... I'm going to... Yeah, let's discard it. Plus, I don't want to have 2 fire pentagrams that trigger when we flip over 1 red card. So, with 5 trade, and my first champion, the first champion I acquire costs 1 less. I think I will grab Darien for 3. Actually, yeah, Darien for 3. Then we'll replace that with the Rot. For 3 trade, 4 combat, I can sacrifice a card in my hand or discard pile, and then 3 combat on an ally ability. So that was 3. I'll use the last 2 to grab another Fire Gem. And then 3, 6, 9. We'll hit the boss for another 9 to bring him down to 56. Everything will unexhaust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I don't hate that. Next card we've got coming out is a blue card. Yikes, that gobbles up my highest defense champion. I believe that takes both of them. Yeah. I think that does take them both, which is very sucktacular, but no help for that. Gross, gross, gross. Fortunately, he doesn't gain any attack, though. So he doesn't make any kind of attack. Right. So we'll start off with Kristoff. Then we'll play a Taxation. Ally abilities will trigger, so I'll gain 6 health going up to 57. And then I'll draw a card once I exhaust Kristoff. Okay. Then I'll play a Spark. That's a green that's gobbling up the top card of my market deck. We can leave that there. Plus, he's already leveled up anyway. That will trigger the ally ability on Spark. I've already gained the 6 health, but I didn't gain the 3 health from Kristoff yet. That'll bring me up to 60. Then I'll expend the Wolf Shaman for another 3 combat. Then I'll play a Hunting Bow for another 2 combat. And then I've got a total of 5 gold. I think that's going to be Master Weigh-In for 4. And another Spark, which just came out. And then we've got a Recruit for 2. 2 gold and 3 health, plus 1 health for each champion I have in play. Ally ability to gain a gold. So I've got 2, 5, 7, and 5 is 12 combats. That'll bring Ingarash down to 34. Then all of this goes to the discard pile. We'll unexhaust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we can definitely do a lot of damage this round, but let's see what happens on the top of the deck. That's a green, so it'll gobble the top card of the market deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Gross. That's 11 cards. Which unfortunately will be enough to take out both of my champions and hit me for 2. Down to 58. That's very sucktacular. Okay, well, we can kind of work with this, I think. We'll start off with the Captive for 2 combat, or for 2... Yeah. Alright, then we'll play the Wolf form. 8 combat, target opponent discards a card. That's a Stone Golem, let's not deal with that. Then we'll play a Nature's Bounty for 4 combat, ally ability triggers. Runos Enforcer. Let's see, that's gobbling the top card of the market and makes it make an attack. Let's discard that as well. Then we've got Influence and Ruby. So we've got 9 gold. I'll expend the Captive to sacrifice the top card, to sacrifice a gobbled up card. I'll just take 1 at random. So that hit him down to 10. Let's see, then we'll hit Ingarash for 8, bringing him down to 26. Then I've got 9 gold to buy with, which will be the Word of Power for 6. Flipping over an Intimidation, but I'll grab the Rod instead. The Intimidation is 5 combat, ally ability with blue, gain 2 gold, and a Recruit. Then we'll move all of that. We'll unexhaust the Captive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Well, we'll see how much I hate this, but let's see what we've got coming out. Oh, yikes, we've got the Stone Golem anyway, so we can only stun it with damage. And it's green, so it'll gobble the top card of the Market deck, which will bring it back up to 11. Then he'll exhaust that. 5, 2 of which can go take out the Captive, and then we'll take 3, going down to 55. Alright, we need to take out this Golem pronto. I might have to start scrapping cards to do it. We'll start off with a Snake Pet. We'll expend that to draw a card. I hate that. Spark. Ruinous Chanter. We're about to shuffle the discard pile, I think. So, yeah, that's fine. Let's see. I think we're gonna have to. Even if we, the problem here is actually if we scrap both of the, if we sacrifice both of these cards, we will get just enough to take out the Stone Golem, and I might have to do that. Actually, we might not. Let's see what I can sacrifice here. Do I have something in my discard pile that I can bin? I've got a gold I can bin. Actually, I've got ally ability here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll scrap the Fire Gem. I do still get the 5 gold, plus 1 is 6, which will go to grab Liss. Then we'll flip that over with Tyrannor the Devourer. 8 trade. Expend for 4 combat. I can sacrifice up to 2 cards in my hand and or discard pile. Ally ability with red to draw a card. And guard strength of 6. So what do we have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9 of which will take out the Stone Golem. And I'll hit Ingarash for 1. And then that's it for my turn. Unexhaust the Snake Pet. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully we can get some good stuff here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get 2 of my strongest champions back. Four, 5. All right, let's see what ended up in my hand. Okay, let's see what we draw here. We draw the Ruinous Chanter, which he'll also gobble up the highest cost card in my discard pile. Joke's on him because I don't have a discard pile right now. Gains 4 combat, so that'll be enough to take out the Snake Pet and do 3 to me, so I'm down to 51, actually 52. Let's see if I can get to 6 combat so I don't keep taking damage. Yeah, I can. Alright, we will start with the Elven Gift for 2 gold. I can draw a card if I do discard. Do I want to, though? I don't think I do. We'll play out an Influence. Then a Death Touch, which will trigger the ally ability there. On Death Touch, Darien. And finally Taxation, which will trigger its ally ability, giving me 6 health, bringing me up to 58. Let's see, I'm not going to sacrifice a card. 4, 5, 6, 7. I did gain the 6 health already. So I will take out the Runos Chanter for 6 and deal Ingarash 1 damage. Then for 7 gold, I'm going to get Rake. And replace him with Close Ranks. 5 combat plus 2 for each champion I have in play. Ally ability of 6 for 6 health. Costs 3 to acquire. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're starting to get somewhere-ish. Okay. Now, he's got to shuffle this up. We have 2 red cards, which would potentially be hitting the fire pentagram. Let's see what happens here, though. Okay, next card coming out. Stone Golem back again. Great. But that'll gobble up the top card of the market deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he'll gain that attack. Plus 5. Which will take out Darian and hit me for 12. Ouch. So 46 for me. Now I need to get up to 9 combat again to deal with that, and I think I do, actually. We'll go ahead and play out all of my champions. Liss, well, I'm getting ahead of myself there. Actually, no, I'm not getting ahead of myself too much. So we'll start off with a Death Cultist for 2, then Liss, which will let me sacrifice the gold I have in hand to give me another 2, so I'm up to 6, 7, 8... and 3 is 11, plus another 3 is 14, right? 2, 8, 9, 2, 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I'll hit the Stone Golem for 9 and deal 7 to Ingarash, bringing him down to 17. Then we'll unexhaust everything. I'll draw back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he is not too far from being just dead here. If this is not a... well, I was going to... well... if this is not a red card coming up, I think he's just dead. So, of course, it is a red card, and it's the... so when we flip that over, this deals 5 damage to me and to all of my champions. So all of my champions go away. The only consolation is that the... actually, should I have cleared that? No. Right. The only consolation there is that the hazard clears. Then red gobbles the highest cost action in my hand, which the highest action is the Nature's Bounty, because of course it is. Bringing him up to 13 gobbled cards. Then the Runos Chanter will exhaust for 4 combat, and he'll hit me with that, bringing me down to 37. Okay, now we'll start off with Varric. I'm just looking for which champion I want. And I think this is an easy one, so I'll exhaust Varric to grab... yep, I'm triggering the ally ability on Varric without the champion I grab here, so I'm going to put Rake on top of my library. Then I'll play the Rot, which says I can sacrifice a card in my hand or discard pile. I'm going to sacrifice the Snake Pet because that's not really useful right now. But it'll also trigger ally abilities on both of these, so I'll draw a card. Hey, look at that, it's Rake. And then I'll play out my other 2 cards. Spark, which will let me discard a card, which will make him discard a card. Yellow Mastery. What card will we be gobbling? We'll have him discard that one. And we've got Taxation, which doesn't trigger the ally ability. So we'll spend 4. We'll expend Rake for 4, and we'll stun the Runos Chanter. I'm going to rule I can aim that at a minion. Let's see. So that's 7, 14. Actually, I think that's Xaxes. Is it? Let's see. 4. Now let's expend Track. I want to make sure I can kill him I want to make sure I can kill him next round. And I can put up to 2 into my discard pile. I'm going to put the Captive into my discard pile, and then I'll put the other 2 back like that. 7, 11, 14. So he's actually going to be down to 3. Then all of that will move to the discard pile. Then we'll draw back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As long as I got at least 3 combat, I will kill him this next round. Then the card he's drawing is a Runos Chanter, which will gobble up my highest cost champion. So that's Rake. That's not even that big a deal. Actually, that goes into play. 4 will take out Varric, and then he'll deal me 1. But I still don't think it ultimately matters. So I'll start off with a Word of Power, which will let me draw 2 cards. Okay, yeah, we just drew. We've got plenty of attack now to deal with him. So we'll start off with a Honed Black Arrow. Wolf Form, which will make him discard a card. Yeah, we're going to get rid of the... Actually, we've got... Oh, I think he's over there, but it doesn't really matter. Because since he's not in our area, we can attack the boss. Right? Yeah, we can also use combat to attack the master. Okay, so yeah, I think we pulled this one out of the fire. So we've got a total of 8 gold, and the first champion I acquire costs 1 less. It'll be Tyrannor for 7, because why not? Flip over a Dark Reward, which we can't do anything with. But the 11 combat here will hit Ingarash down to -8, and we will defeat Ingarash. Go to chapter 16. The heroes are victorious. You have vanquished the demon. You are exhausted and want to collapse, but you force yourself to keep your feet. There remains work to do. Most of the followers are dead, massacred by the demon, but you bind the survivors so the City Watch can take them. During the battle, you freed the young man from his chains, and he proved to be no small ally. After he's gathered himself, he speaks to you with an unexpected grace. You have my eternal thanks, he says, bowing low, and I'm sure my father will reward you greatly. Puzzled, you ask him who your father is. The young man seems shocked. You don't know who I am? And yet you fought that horrific demon to save my life? I fear I have underestimated your virtue, my new friends. He steps back and bows low. I am Calathiel, son of Lord Governor Rathiel, at your service. If you weren't so tired, you'd laugh. You're speaking to royalty, for Rathiel is the Emperor's brother, and the man in front of you is the Emperor's nephew. The priestess had apparently intended a royal sacrifice for the demon. As the watch seizes the prisoners and a healer tends to Calathiel's injuries, something draws you to a corner of the chamber. You find a broken remnant of the slain demon. The relic pulses lightly in your hand, and you wonder what sort of magic may yet linger inside. You fold a cloth around the item and place it in your pack. As you make your way above ground, you wonder what time it is. Perhaps the inn at Four Rivers is still open. The gods know you could use a drink. I'll note the character point. Of course, I didn't bring my pen in with me. Oop. Too much. There we go. 1 character point, and I need to find the relic that matches the demon I defeated. So that will be in Rune of Thandar, Encounter That can be treasures or encounter 3. I think that's probably... Nope. Holy cow. We've got the Tooth of Ingarash for 6. Gain combat equal to the number of cards in your discard pile and draw a card. Holy cow. And then the epilogue. A few months later, the ceremony is short and private. Most of Thandar is unaware of what occurred that night, Lord Governor Rathiel explains, and I would have it remain that way. 2 guardsmen look on impassively as Rathiel gives you his fervent thanks as well as a title, Protector of Thandar. When he places a small chest of gold on the table, you attempt to refuse, but he refuses your refusal. Take it, please. I'm afraid you'll need it to buy supplies. With a grim smile, he unfurls a map of the land surrounding the city of Thandar. He points to a small dot on the edge of the map. This is Heart's End. It's a small village south of River Down. A quiet place they mostly keep to themselves, or so I'm told. It's known for... The Lord Governor pauses. He tilts his head, clearly thinking hard, then evidently gives up. Well, while not known for anything as near as I can tell, just the same, they have sworn fealty to Thandar and therefore are under our protection. Rathiel's face turns serious. You did Thandar a great service in slaying that monster and saving my son. And now, I must ask your aid a second time. Go to Heart's End. Go and find out what happened. Perhaps this Runos sect is again up to some malevolence. You ask what happened to the people of Heart's End. That's just the problem, the Lord Governor says. The entire village is missing. And evening, Jester, I didn't see you stop by. I'll check out your unboxing later. Actually, this will be a good time for that, because that will do it for this playthrough of Hero Realms as we've continued the background campaign. So that went pretty well. And if you've played Star Realms, and I know you have, Jester, you've basically played Hero Realms. This is essentially the same game, just with a fantasy coat of paint instead of the sci-fi coat of paint that Star Realms has. I expect we'll pick this back up at some point in the future. But I'm rambling, so let's wrap this video up. No stream tomorrow, as it is Thursday night, so I'll be doing some gaming off the channel. Friday we're coming back, though. I'm going to continue doing some sports testing on the channel, as we're going to have a new debut on... Actually, yeah, we're going to have a new debut on the channel on Friday night. We'll be playing History Maker Baseball by Play Games. I will hold close to the vest what game we've got lined up for that. Missed most of it. You've looked at it a few times, but never bought it. It is a fairly good... It's actually a pretty good game. The solo mode's a campaign rather than a series of bosses, although there are some special bosses and other content you might grab. And I know you played Star Realms before. You'd pick this game up in Nothing Flat. Like I said, they're basically the same game. As far as what else we've got coming up, Saturday Mystical Munchies will continue out of the... Well, actually, Redo Month will continue for Mystical Munchies as we go back to the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Blackspire Outpost Cookbook for the dessert, Kawaki and Crumb Cake. Sunday morning, the fall campaign will continue in B-17 Flying Fortress Leader by DVG. As for next week, we're finally going to remember that it's October. Played Star Realms a few times. Yeah, you'll pick this one up, no problem. We'll finally get our horror on next week, though, as we play Final Girl by Van Ryder Games. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.